Charlie Kirk was like, I agree, Matt. I agree. Let's start with Budweiser. Since 2008, it's been owned by a Dutch multinational, plenty of American-owned alternatives, and it's an awful product. Let's put Budweiser out of business. What do you say? All right, guys. So now they is this their punished arc? Like before, they were like, we hate cancel culture. But now they're like, we love cancel culture. It's time for, we can't stop cancel culture. So it's time for us to do our own cancel culture. Bro, I have no clue who the heck Dylan Mulvaney is, but what I'm going to tell you now is we need to do a wellness check on conservatives, okay? Because apparently this lady is their favorite woman to ever exist. I can't escape conservatives like talking about Dylan Mulvaney. I found out the other day, okay? Apparently she's a popular TikToker who posts her TikToks onto TikTok every now and again. All right? And apparently I had no clue about this, but she's huge. Who? TikToker. But apparently she's huge. Not as in physical size. I'm pretty sure she's tiny. But I'm talking about like in media presence, because I think she has like 100-something million TikTok followers. She has transed her gender as well, so keep that in mind. My bad, she has 10 million. My bad, she has 10 million followers and 442 million likes. And every single one of her posts get like at least 2 million views, typically. Which is kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's actually a lot. Like, she has a lot of clout. Actually, way more clout than I ever imagined, if I'm going to be honest with you. She's very popular, yes. And apparently she's so popular that she recently got brand deals with 2 companies, all right? One of those companies being Bud Light and the other company being Nike. Bud Light put her face on one of their beer cans to appeal to the younger generation, to feed them more piss beer. Now, I've never had Bud Light and I don't really like beer. I tried beer once, Senator, and I did not like it at all, Senator. I thought it tastes like mold. If I'm going to be honest with you, shit tastes like ass. It tastes like ass shit. Shit ass, okay? And I did not enjoy it at all. But, I mean, like, if it works out for them, it works out for them. It wasn't Bud Light that I tried. It was actually a local beer. It was actually a local beer, and it was just bad. It was just terrible. Yeah, I tried it once at a party just to see if I would like it, and the shit tasted so ass I had to wash it down with Mike's Hard Lemonade. I mean, I don't know. I just like the fruitier ones better. What can I say? I like them a bit fruity. I do like fruit. It is good for you. Yeah, they did put pronouns on the beer can. Quite sad indeed. Wait, let me see. Apparently, she just like she took the sippy of the beer can, and apparently it's gone viral how much they dislike it. And now conservatives are doing what conservatives do best, which is, yeah, as you can see, they did put her whole ass face on one beer can, which I think is crazy. To have your whole face on a beer can, I think that's kind of wild. Trans beer. They did put estrogen in the beer can, okay? So you do need to watch out for that. And now conservatives are doing what conservatives do best, which is as soon as they saw this, they decided to run out, buy like 12 packs of Bud Light, and then shoot it in the yard with their shotgun to show them liberals that they're sick and tired of the trans people and identity politics being shoved in their face. That's why when they randomly found out on the internet, not from Bud Light, that Bud Light had worked with a trans person once, they decided to, instead of move on with their day, drive to their local store, look for the local beer, pick it up, buy it, drive it back, take out your phone, destroy it or pour it out, and then upload it, because that's the only way that they could get that beer out of their face. There was no other way. Guys, there was no not the please sign up jump scare them. I'm sorry, I'm not one of them. I'm one of him. So fuck you. You see that? They asked me for my email. They didn't ask me for my real pronouns. Yikes. I will not be joining your queer, homosexual, gay, homosexual, queer League of Letters. Them bullshit. Okay. You see it? They're still shoving it in your face. They're shoving it down your throat. Dylan Mulvaney is shoving it down your throat. What other option could there be? Nothing. Nothing else, honestly. Literally nothing else. So obviously they're doing that. Then they got really mad that Nike wanted to cooperate with Dylan Mulvaney. And so Dylan Mulvaney just posted a couple pictures in like Nike streetwear, in Nike sportswear or whatever. And then they decided to just be really weird about it. They decided that this would be a perfect time to talk about her penis, the whether she has one or not. So they started posting shit like this, like just tuck it, ahaha, penis. Am I right? Am I right, guys? Gawk. That's crazy. Just really weird stuff going on. Bro sees a woman, first thing they think of is penis. Quite curious how that works out, isn't it? Quite strange how that works out, is it not? They're obsessed. They literally can't help themselves. I can't show you this, but recently they've been putting out pictures where they've started to like zoom in on her crotch while she's doing like yoga on her Instagram feed, so they can like hopefully log on, so they can show everybody that this outspoken trans person has a penis. I can't show you it, but they've been doing it. They're just like, she really is a penis haver. Look, I've like Jarvis enhanced, and I think I see the outline of her possible penis that she has tucked. This is crazy how this keeps happening. And this is her like ad for Nike. Which is, I mean, I love her. She's so crazy. She's so crazy. Glenner did that. Was that Glenner? Really? Dude is fucking insane. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait. Wait a second, look. You see that? I type in bros like at the number one thing that comes up when you search him up is wife. Holy shit. Just so you know, he's divorced. And he's very upset about being divorced. His wife and kids left him. And instead of like being a normal person, no wife. Instead of being a normal person, he's made his entire media personality trying to bully trans people. And that's literally it. That's it. He's so involved. He's so like rabid about trying to bully trans people that he has now made his own lesbian dating site profile so he could then hunt down people who he suspects to be transgender on the site, so he could then take a screenshot of their profiles and then post it to his Twitter account to go, look at all these men on lesbian dating sites. It's just insanity. It's just insanity. Also, I'm not here. Let me take a screenshot here for you. So I'll cut off the problematic bits. I'm not joking. He literally did this, okay? Nike symbol acquires new meaning in the context of Dylan woman face Mulvaney. This is their new line that they're trying to do, like pretend to, where they like where they like try to pretend they care about black people for 3 seconds, and they say that like trans people existing, like a trans woman existing, is woman face. It's like blackface but for women, I guess. because like wearing makeup or something is the woman face, I guess, or something along those lines. And then he took a zoom in of like her crotch, like a Jarvis enhance. Let me see that gawk, Jarvis, please. I need it. But that isn't the worst of what I wanted to show you. I wanted to do a little wellness check on some of these possible conservatives because it seems like they're doing really poorly. I just let's show you one. A girl who calls herself a MAGA influencer has has logged on, and she has some stuff to say about Dylan Mulvaney. I do love the fact that like to pretend to be trans to them, they like put on a beard. Like women like pretending to be trans instead of just like standing there and being like, "Hello, I am trans," which would like, would get the point across. They have to try and make it look like they're trans, even though like no trans person looks like this, unless they're like specifically like non-binary, which is their aesthetic. But like instead of like just like walking up and then like dressing like normally like she would, which is like how a trans person would look, she just decides to like look like this anyways because TERFs and conservatives and like transphobes and misogynists don't know what women actually look like. I mean, like, right, like what's his name, Dylan Radcliffe, we talked about it the other day, right? The guy who played Harry Potter in like the Harry Potter movies. His like wife who's slightly taller than him and who is pregnant, who has a womb literally full of baby, was called trans by like TERFs because she's taller than him. They're like, that's a man because she's tall, and like wraps her arm around his shoulder because she's taller than him. Look at his face. That's a face of a man who has a wife who has a penis. And he was just like, well, taking the picture. And it was just weird. And everybody called them out for being like, well, look, here we go, average TERF, giving themselves a pat on the back after clocking their 5th cis woman as trans today. Tall woman has to have a cock. Can I see it? But anyways, yeah. So here's her impression of Dylan Mulvaney, I guess.
My name's Randy, and I'm
my bad, Randy Vaney.
here with Beers for Queers, and if you don't like it, you're a bigot.
Okay, wait a second. That one kind of went hard. Beers for queers. Wait, that kind of went. Wait. Bud Light, write that down. Bud Light, write that down. You should have put that on the can instead. That goes crazy. Pronouns, question mark, and also question mark, but in Spanish. Can somebody tell me, why do Mexican people do this? Why is there a question mark sometimes upside down? Why? Should I read the beginning of the sentence upside down or some shit like that? Why is there a question mark upside down? Question mark, but also question mark, but in Spanish. Yeah, a lot of conservatives think Michelle Obama is trans too because she's tall. Don't blame us for Spanish. Yeah, but upside down, yeah. Spanish grammar thing. It indicates that the sentence is a question. Okay, but why is the bitch upside down? And why is there a question mark at the end? To let you know it was also a question as well. I can get it that it's like in the beginning. Sure. I can even get it that it's at the end. But why is the bitch upside down? It looks neat. Okay. It's like brackets. Okay, but why is the bitch upside down? Symmetry? It's literally asymmetry. I mean, is it because to show that it's not the... Is it because to show it? Because like the one that's upside down is at the beginning of the sentence, right? So is it supposed to show that it's actually not the punctuation of the previous sentence, and so it's upside down, so you know that it's like it's the punctuation for the beginning of the sentence, for the beginning of the next sentence? Is that correct? That's what I would imagine. Por que no las dos? So true. I mean, I get it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I understand it a bit more. It doesn't make like explaining if that's the reason. I guess it makes sense. It does make sense, I guess. If you want to like tell people that it's going to be a question at the beginning, instead of like at the end when they figure out it's a question and then have to read it like a question afterwards, if they didn't look at the punctuation at the end, especially if it's like a longer sentence. Sure. It being upside down, sure, I get it. At the same time, you be putting a space between them anyways. Well, no, maybe just easier. It's possible. Anyways, I'm off track. Let's see her best anti-trans impression.
For queers, and if you don't
Wait.
beers for queers, and if you don't like it, you're
Beers for
a bigot. This drink's made for those of us that like
Any
a little
bigots in
chest
chat?
hair on our titties. Maybe you like a little mystery in the bush. Most of you drink beers that couldn't carry my jockstrap, the one I still wear when I'm kicking your daughter's asses in sports. Straight, white, cisgendered.
Listen, I gotta tell you one thing. I think you're the only person who beats your daughter. By the way you're acting here and just judging by your personality, you seem like the only one who beats your daughter here. If I'm going to be completely honest. I think most trans people aren't athletic and aren't good at sports. I think most trans people would get their ass beat in any sport that they would attempt. The reason being is because I think they're pretty normal and they're not good at any of that shit. Honestly. Projection? No. I'm in a community full of like trans people and I see them walking around. I see them going about their life. I'll tell you this now. I don't think any of them could like win a game of pickup basketball in their neighborhood. I think there's like a 1% of the trans people who like log online for more than 3 hours a day could like win a game of pickup basketball, could like beat somebody in a lap around the local pool. I don't think they can do it. I just don't think your average trans person is very athletic. I don't think your average person is very athletic, and since trans people are normal, I don't think that your average trans person is very athletic, okay? I just don't think so. Trans people just aren't like bodying women in sports. Remember the whole Leah Thomas thing? Remember that from like last year? And conservatives have all completely forgotten about Leah Thomas, but like Leah Thomas doesn't like swim anymore because she's not in school anymore. That on top of the fact is that, that record that people said that like Leah Thomas set while she was in college? Literally, I think 6 months after her last swim meet, it got beat. Leah Thomas holds no more records. 6 months after she left school. Shit's crazy.
Beer tastes like piss. If you're like me and you want a drink that's made for a man that's not really a man, drink my beer. Drink!
I gotta skip forward a little bit because she then, as you can see, she then goes on to grab her girl cock. So we're gonna skip over that, and then she. You okay? Calm down. Terrible shotgunning technique. Calm down. Is she trying to kickstart her OnlyFans or something? This is a little bit much.
I think I cut my lip.
You dumbass. Nice one. This is why you don't get invited to the party, okay? This is why this bitch doesn't get invited to the cookout. There's a clear reason why. She has no charisma. None. Zero. And they keep doing it too. They keep making more. I'm not sure how much I can show. I can show like a little bit of this one. This one gets more gross, so I can't show you too much of this one, but like this one's stupid as well.
Hey guys, it's Taylor. It's day 6 of girlhood, and look who I got, a new sponsor. Look at this cool Bud Light tower they sent me. Bud Light sent me so much cool stuff because they're so inclusive. Look at this Bud Light tank top. And I've obviously been drinking a lot of Bud. I also might be pregnant. Don't tell anyone. They also sent me this. Check this out. Ready? They sent me a Bud plug. Look at this. Ooh, la, la, la. It's gonna get me nice and loose and relaxed.
This, just so you know, I easily consider this sexual harassment. This is, for one, all right, chat, you ready? You have failed the wellness check. We are admitting you to the local insane asylum where you will never return. Sorry. On top of that, I consider this sexual harassment. Wow, funniest shit I've ever seen. Just act normal. Just act normal. They can't. They can't. They literally can't do it. It's physically impossible. Very true. Debilitating untreated mental illness. It's right here. Who watches this and laughs? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I can't tell. Other boomers? Other boomers? If Shu has said anything recently, the one thing that she said that was correct is that if Joe Biden should change the tax code and allow like your average trans person to claim every Republican in the country as a dependent because they live in their minds rent free. They just can't escape. If they just like the rattling the bars to the cage. Let me out. Let me out. Like your average trans person rattling the like rattling the cup on the bars. I know why the cage bird sings. Just trapped in the mind of your local conservative. Release me. You can't do this to me. You can't leave me in here. It's crazy. It's crazy. On that note, I kind of wanted to read, because I've seen it, but I've never actually read it, that like really cringy Matt Walsh and Charlie Kirk like back and forth that they had complaining about why like nobody actually cares about what conservatives have to say. He wrote a whole book. I didn't care about reading it, but I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. The left has taken away all the neutral cultural ground. This is why brands like Bud Light and Nike are giving endorsement deals to a trans person. Now, here's the thing is that like just being a good person in this society just outwardly is profitable. That's why. And being inclusive in this society is profitable. That's why. Being hateful is just not as profitable. If you're hateful in private, like without anybody really knowing about it, then it's like, all right. But until like somebody starts to know about it and you do it in public, then like being super hateful and transphobic typically doesn't pay the bills. In the past, a beer company could basically be culturally neutral, but the left has declared that you are either with them or against them. The silence is violence principle. I mean, it is pretty good that companies are talking about certain things. You believe this as well, dumbass. What are you talking about? You literally want to bring the entire like world down on like racial, gender, and sexual minorities to like push them from public life and most parts of private life as well. That's literally your political philosophy and goal. But okay, I guess it's everybody else. Don't you think that like if you're powerful, you should you should speak up about important things? I think that, yeah. And like, it's just like, it just doesn't make any sense because like, wait, does anybody here drink Canada Dry? I haven't seen a gay penis on Canada Dry ever since I've been buying it since 2015 or something. Since I've been living in Kentucky, I have not seen one gay penis on Canada Dry ginger ale. And I don't think anybody gets mad at Canada Dry. They're literally vibing. You can be neutral. The only problem is like you don't hear about all the brands that are neutral. They only complain about the brands that actually like care or pretend to care about like minorities. So the brands have a choice. They can be baptized in wokeism and openly worship the LGBT altar, or they can by default align themselves with conservatives. What do? Well, the left will do everything in their power, and they have a lot of power, to make them pay dearly for disloyalty, piss off the right, and on the other hand, and you'll have to deal with some angry tweets, and then nothing else will happen. It's an easy choice. What will the left like do? What are you talking about? What are you saying? What'll happen? What do they think that like? Well, whatever happened to like Chick-fil-A? Remember when Chick-fil-A came out openly as having homophobic chicken? They put they not only did they have homophobic chicken, they like cooked the chicken in homophobia. Like they have a big vat of homophobia that they collect up and they dip the chicken in it before they deep fry it at the store. That's what gives the chicken its crunch. And then listen, I'll tell you what. I think I cared slightly more about Chick-fil-A having homophobic chicken than your average gay person did. When that came out in like Chick-fil-A's filings for like giving a bunch of money to Republican like Neanderthals, I cared more about not eating at Chick-fil-A than I think your average gay person did. If I'm gonna keep it real, I may just be terminally online or something, but like I remember logging on and seeing like a 300,000 like tweet of them being like, I know Chick-fil-A is homophobic, but like their chicken tastes so good, I'm gonna get some tomorrow. I don't really care. And I was like, well, I mean, all right, I guess. This happened while I was in college, and I didn't like order Chick-fil-A the entire time while I was there. But then like, I don't know, I just saw gay people tweeting about it. They're like, I love. They're like, they'd be like, I wouldn't care if like I took the chicken out of the box and it like looked up at me and then called me the F word. They were like, I'd still take a big bite out of it. And I was like, you know what? Do your thing, partner. I can't stop you. But like, Chick-fil-A was perfectly fine. Maybe it's because their homophobic chicken just tasted too good to give up. Go woke, go broke is the lamest right-wing cope of all time. I'm glad he finally said it. And we all know the truth of go fast, lose cash. Because it seems to be, listen, he's probably been sitting in those boards on the Daily Wire and saw how bad their like conservative movies have done. They saw how poorly their like fucking like children's show that they've been making has done, and they're like, we know that go fast, lose cash is the real killer in today's society. It's not even close to true. It should be, but it isn't. By sheer numbers, we have the power to inflict severe financial damage on companies that spit in our faces, but we don't. The brands now know that we don't. I actually don't think that you do. Actually, I simply just don't think that you do actually have the power to do that. Like they believe that they do. I'm not sure if he's still on like the silent majority type thing, but like I really don't think that he has the power to actually do shit like this, to do anything, to actually, actually do stuff like this. You have to do something to actually get people to like worry and be upset about something. And like being upset that a gay person exists isn't something that people care to rally around. I'm sorry.
This meme is very real.
I'm sorry, but it's not. Like the idea of a trans person existing isn't enough to get people to rally around it unless they're just like crazy homophobic and like transphobic. And if they are, they already were not buying it to begin with. We're so behind in the cultural war that nearly every company is woke now. We can't boycott them all, but we can't boycott them all, which is a fact conservatives use as an excuse to do nothing. This attitude infects the right. If we try to solve this problem, there'll still be other problems over there. So why bother? Is a loser's mantra. Oh no, look at this like rallying cry. He's trying to get his like homophobes to actually do something. Here's what we should do. Plotting in real time in real life. Gang up on it. Make an example out of it. Here's what we should do. Pick a victim. Gang up on it. Make an example out of it. We can't boycott every one company or even most of them, but we can pick one. It hardly matters which. Target it with a ruthless boycott campaign. Claim one scalp and then move on to the next. Is he going like full hunter-gatherer fucking primal mode? He's going to try and hang up some shrunken skulls or something like that? Some shrunken heads? Fry 'em like bacon? It's just what the hell, brother? What is this? All right, guys, the companies won't see it coming. What we do is we pretend to care about something, and then we get them to back off. And then once we're done caring, That's when we move on to the next one, and we would have shown them a real lesson. You don't have the power, you don't have the influence to do any of this type of shit, and I'm glad that you don't. You're bad people. Sorry, fuck you. The problem is that many conservatives don't have the stomach or attention span for this. Holy shit, he's calling them low IQ. They don't have the attention span? What, are you all that stupid? It takes like a weekend. What happened? They don't have the attention span. Whatever happened to Gen Z being like dumb and uneducated and on TikTok too much with no attention span? Apparently we have like a long enough attention span to like bring a multi-billion-dollar company to its knees with a couple of tweets. But like boomer core, like retired geriatrics don't have the power to be, or the attention span to be able to be able to like spend a weekend like causing a fuss about something you don't care about, really? And our political leaders are almost completely useless. There is a way to win real victories. We just need a little grit and a little follow through. Ah, yes, Mr. Theocratic Fascist. Please tell us how we can fix this country. Most woke conservative. He almost gets it. He does not. He does not almost get it. He's simply just a bad person. And afterwards, Charlie Kirk was like, I agree, Matt. I agree. Let's start with Budweiser. Since 2008, it's been owned by a Dutch multinational, plenty of American-owned alternatives, and it's an awful product. Let's put Budweiser out of business. What do you say? All right, guys. So now is this their punished arc? Like before, they were like, we hate cancel culture. But now they're like, we love cancel culture. It's time we can't stop cancel culture, so it's time for us to do our own cancel culture. I guess. You give it a try. Give it a try. I mean, they've been saying this for like forever. You know the craziest thing about, remember Kaepernick? Like their Kaepernick grift that they did when they tried to get mad at like, when they tried to get mad at Nike for that? And then they're like, we're gonna boycott Nike. I remember I was in school. I was in psychology class. I was in psychology in school. I was on my laptop and I was like looking at a bunch of conservatives buy Nike and like start to get mad. And I was like, they're gonna start buying a bunch of Nike products and then selling it soon. I know this. And so I remember, and it's fucking hilarious. I went on, well, like in the middle of class, I stopped writing notes. I opened up Robinhood on my on my desktop, and then I sorry, not on my laptop, and then I moved from some money that I had in there from selling some stocks earlier in the year to Nike, and I bought like 3 Nike shares when I saw them doing it. And then this and then the next couple days I would wake up and see like, hey guys, I'm just throwing away my Nike. You see this Nike shirt? I'm throwing it away. And it's like a bunch of them bought Nike to throw it away. Or like they kept tweeting about Nike every single day, boosting Nike's shit in the algorithm.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Thank you. Thanks for the raid. I really appreciate you. Muzant. Thank you, thank you. And bro, it was so funny. I was cackling. And then you know what happened right after that? Nike stock went up. Oh man, Nike stock went up. I made money. I got money moves, bros. I got money moves. You don't get it. You don't get it. It was so funny. I still have some stock in Nike to this very day. I just held on to some. Sold some, held on to some, bought me something nice. It was so good. Holy. Are they gonna try and boycott Nike again? I thought they were boycotting Nike for the first time with the BLM stuff. Was the BLM stuff like a bad one? But is it like has it gone too far now? Young Shark loved to see it. I did love to see it. It was crazy. It was hilarious. Anyways, let's see how it works out for them. At least they admit that they're losers with nothing going for them. At least they figured that out. Let's see if they figure out the rest, which is to stop talking and stop trying to make the country worse. I doubt that they'll be able to get there pretty soon, but you know, here's hoping. Here's hoping. Has Nick Adams made a tweet about? Oh, he definitely has. You know, he lives on Twitter. Of course he has. Of course. Of course. What are you, crazy? Have you seen Kid Rock's recent reaction? I think so. I think he was like, I hate this shit. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll fucking, blah. If I ever see that Nike CEO, that's gonna be their goddamn, that they'll either their last haul. Yeah. Anyways, let me shoot this beer. God darn it. Fucking shit stings. Got another goddamn transgender on my goddamn beer. Shit stings like a skeeter bite. Yeah, he probably said some shit like that. I would imagine. He's from a very wealthy family from Michigan. Yeah. Wait, what the fuck did Matt Walsh say? Wait, Matt Walsh has a new idea. Matt Walsh says that actual cis men should start walking into the women's restroom and start posting up outside of stalls and start looking into stalls to protect women from trans people. Wait, is this real? Wait a second. Una momento, okay? Por favor. I gotta take a look at this one. You know what this song is? It works perfectly. This is what he thinks is gonna be like walking into your average big city bathroom. The only problem, Matt, is if you piss off a couple gun-toting trans people, you try and take them out, I don't think they'll give you a restart, brother. I don't think you can hold R on that one. But anyways, it's called self-defense.
It is sometimes said by some on the right that the fight to protect women's sports and to defend the privacy and safety of women in their locker rooms and bathrooms must be fought primarily by the women themselves, or only by the women themselves. You know, if they're not going to defend their own spaces, then there's nothing the rest of us can do. The logic goes. But I've always felt that this line of thinking is a pathetic cop-out. I mean, it's something said by people who are trying to excuse their own inaction. It's the rationalization of cowards. Yes, women need to speak up. Yes, it's true that not enough of them are, but it's not the primary responsibility of young women in college and high school girls to beat back the march of gender ideology. Okay, that cannot fall on them to do. We can't leave them alone on the front lines.
We can't leave the transphobic girls alone on the front lines. What'll happen? They'll their friends will call them bigots and cringe. They'll make fun of them for watching Matt Walsh on their on their iPhone during lunch. They'll be like, "Ew, you're watching him? He's a bigot." And then you go, "He's not a bigot. He's a fighter for women's rights." And then they go, "Okay, loser." And then they walk away and they eat food without you. Can you imagine that young girl crying her eyes out? Matt Walsh, what do we do? It's so over, dude. It's so over.
Everything else about this guy is bizarre and disordered. But when he says he's really a woman, well, now that is obviously a lucid and sober insight into his own true nature.
I mean, like, I don't really care about something being bizarre. I don't really care about something being so bizarre, okay? I've taken a couple of trips around the country. I've been on a, you know, those like girls on I have any guys in chat? I have any men in chat? You guys ever been swiping through a like a girl's dating profile and it's like, take me on an adventure? Okay, I've gone on a couple adventures here and there, especially living here in Kentucky and in Missouri, okay? And I've seen some bizarre shit on my adventures, okay? I've had some bizarre adventures, is what I'm saying. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I don't really care about some weirdo conservative, what they think is normal or bizarre, all right? Two people holding hands or like sleeping in the same like house together who aren't married, but are just like dating, they think that shit is bizarre, all right? Like going to a ramen shop to these people is bizarre. I don't really care. what they think is bizarre.
But once again, a gender transition, which is supposed to make somebody happy and fulfilled and just make their lives better, utterly failed. Rather than being happy and fulfilled, he was homicidal. Fortunately, this trans terrorist was foiled before he could carry out his plans, unlike the one here in Nashville. But we're still left with 2 planned trans terrorism attacks, one prevented, one not, in the span of 2 weeks, 2 of them. And in between the Covenant attack and the news of this other attempted massacre, we've seen trans mobs storm state capitol buildings, assault peaceful counter-protesters, topped off by a violent mob accosting a campus speaker and holding her hostage.
Accosting and holding hostage. So a lot of what he's talking about is simply untrue. So he's saying that these people were like trans terrorists. Were they committing crimes because they were trans, in spite of them being trans? Did it have anything to do with them being trans? He doesn't know. But what he does know is he's just like your average sort of like bigot. A lot of racist people do this same exact thing. And like transphobia, misogyny, it has like the same kind of like fundamental brain poo nugget. It spawns from the same brain poo nugget. It has like the same like bulb in there, like deep in their skull somewhere, God knows where, but it's in there. And it comes out and it stinks. Where it's like when you see a group that you already dislike, when one of those people from that group do something bad, you attribute it to the entirety of that group. So he would get mad if you said you can't trust white people. White people kept slaves in America for 250 years or more. So you can't trust white people, especially Southern white people, because they didn't even give up their slaves willingly. And all of them were like fighting to keep slavery in place. And they like slavery. If you told Matt Walsh white people keep pets because they miss keeping slaves, he would get really mad. If he would start shaking, steam would start billowing out of his ears. His like face would get red, but like from the bottom up, he'd start shaking, all that type of stuff. He would get really angry. But then like a trans person does something bad and he has no clue if it's even because they're trans. It's obviously the fault of trans people and they're all like evil or something, I guess. And they hate us for some reason, I guess. I mean, I think your average trans person does have like a pretty good reason to hate like your average fundamentalist evangelical weirdo freak. Yeah, but like we have no clue if this shooting was spurred about of them being trans. I do know the Nashville shooter actually went to that school, and a lot of mass shooters who go to schools have gone to the school that they shoot up at some point in time. They've been there before. I do know that much. I'm not sure if there's like an actual manifesto or there's like an actual like reason for them being there. I have no clue. But if like I saw like, yeah, but I mean like if we saw the Buffalo shooter and you said we need to do something about white people, he's been getting really mad. He would get super mad. And I know Matt Walsh doesn't care about women's safety, any of these types of things. When have you ever heard people like Matt Walsh talk about women's safety, women's sports outside the context of them being able to use it to like shit on a minority group? Have you ever heard that before? I've been keeping track of a lot of these people. I haven't heard that shit in my entire life. You can look through their like a Twitter or something. They've never talked about if like there are lots of cases of men, a lot of white men, raping, teen girls and their subordinates, when they're like coaches or like higher ups or like team owners, when it's like a woman team. And the only time they ever talk about like women, anytime they talk about like women, like sports players, they're always like, look at these dumb broads thinking that their sport is anywhere near as interesting as a man's. Hilarious, these fucking losers. The only reason that I watch them is so I can see their ass fat jiggle and their little pants. That's all they're good for. I'd rather kill myself than watch women's sports. What are you, crazy? But then the second trans people's issues started to get up, they're all like, holy crap, we need to care so much about these. We need to care so much about these women in women's sports. Oh, are we going to like increase their funding so they're on parity with like men's teams? No. Are we going to make sure that they're protected from sexual assault from their like higher ups and when they're vulnerable to people who have like more power than them? No. Best I got is banning trans people from existing. It's the best I got. Best I got. And by this logic, we'd be banning like, we'd be like taking guns from like white Christians specifically. There's been like billions of more shootings, not literally billions, but thousands of more shootings in this country. On that, like mass shootings in this country, on that, and politically motivated mass shootings in this country, than anything that you could possibly imagine, like a trans person doing. So. It's okay. It's okay. Y'all are still top dog in that school shooting category. Don't worry about it.
This is the trans violence that we've seen in just 2 weeks. And men, in my view, should be on the front lines, just as men should be on the front lines of any battle.
All right, boys. Are you ready to be in the front line of like women's restrooms? Are you guys ready to post up outside of the girl's shitbox to make sure that you can keep them safe? Are you guys ready to do general inspect? Are you guys ready to be the bikini inspector at your local beach to make sure that no transgenders are walking into the women's room?
If we leave the opponents of this ideology alone and isolated, they will be easy targets. So we all need to stand up. None of us belong on the sidelines. We're all called.
Avenger transphobes assemble! Assemble! Federal booty inspector. It's me. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm gonna have to take a look at your booty to make sure that it's not trans. Pardon me, ma'am. I'm gonna have to get a good look at that booty to make sure that it's not trans. Can I get a little? Guys, this one's inconclusive. Can we get a cavity search real quick? Sorry, ma'am. Can you step over here really quick? We're real thorough. Don't worry about it. Oh, I left my gloves at home. It's okay. This will be quick. The peach peeper. Not the peach peeper. Ma'am, please don't, ma'am, please stop crying. I'm just trying to make sure that you're not trans. I'm trying to protect you. Here, ma'am, may you put on this collar? I'm gonna attach like ma'am, may you put on this collar? I'm gonna attach a long retractable leash to it. I'm just gonna make sure you're safe in there. I can't go in there because I have a penis and I want to hurt you or anything. But if you see a transgender while you're in there, just give a little yank on the on the leash and I'll come running in. Okay, I got you. We're gonna make sure you're safe. One at a time, ladies. One at a time. Ma'am, I'm a professional. Don't worry. I'm a booty inspector. It's very important. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.